My name is Gary Shoulders. I'm the founder and CEO of 3Bug Media, a web marketing company that has helped hundreds and hundreds of small businesses create and run highly successful marketing campaigns. And in this class, we're going to discuss direct marketing principles that will supercharge your marketing campaigns. Most businesses lack clear goals, accountability, and impactful results when it comes to their marketing. So if you're frustrated with the results you're getting with your current marketing and want to fix that, then this class is for you. So what will we cover in this class? We're going to cover the 3 essential ingredients of any marketing campaign and how if you get any one of these wrong, you will never have a successful marketing campaign. We're going to talk about creating action-oriented and results-driven marketing campaigns, creating clear, concise, and compelling marketing messages, the importance of continually tracking and improving your marketing campaigns, and how great follow-up is a key to a successful marketing campaign. So if you want to create better marketing campaigns that produce positive results, then let's get started. Okay, so what is direct marketing? Direct marketing is action-oriented marketing. It speaks directly to the consumer with marketing messages that ask them to take a desired action. Direct marketing is more closely related to direct selling, using the same principles you would use if you were selling your product or service to a single person. Direct marketing allows you to take that one-on-one sales pitch and bring it to the masses. So as you can see, direct marketing has a closer relationship to selling than it does to marketing, because the purpose of direct marketing is to try to solicit a sale. And that's the biggest difference between direct marketing and regular marketing, where oftentimes, especially with bigger businesses, that they do something called brand marketing, where the main goal of the marketing is to get their business in front of a new audience, get them to remember them, so eventually, somewhere down the line, hopefully, they'll make a purchase from them. The problem with that when it comes to small business is that small businesses don't have the budgets to do that. You know, for a small business, you're working with a very small budget, so you want to make sure if you're spending $100 on marketing that you should expect at least $200 in return or more. So let's go over some of the basics of marketing. Now, when it comes to marketing, you need 3 elements to have a successful marketing campaign, and that's a market, a message, and a media. Without all of those 3 things, you will not have a successful marketing campaign. So the market is who are you targeting? Who's your target audience, your ideal customer? Your message is what are you going to say to this customer? And your media is what is the channel that you're going to use, the marketing channel, to reach them. So if you're targeting the right customer or the right market with the right message, but you're using the wrong media, you may not be able to reach them and thus not have a successful campaign. If you're targeting the wrong market with the right message and using the right media, same thing, you're not going to have a successful marketing campaign. You can only have a successful marketing campaign when you have all 3 of these elements working together. So who is your target market? What are their interests, hobbies, and concerns? What problems can you solve for them? Now, when it comes to marketing, knowing who you're marketing to, who your ideal customer is the most important thing you can do, because if you don't get this right, you could be doing everything else correctly, but if you're targeting the wrong audience, your marketing is not going to work. So best practice is to spend a lot of time thinking about who you want to market to. Start to figure out who they are, what their interests are, what their hobbies are, what concerns do they have when it comes to buying your product or service. Start writing these things out, because once you have all this information, then you can start to figure out how your product or service can help solve their problem. The next thing you have is your message. So once you have your target market, you understand who you're going to target, then the next thing is your message. What is your customer-focused message? What problem will you solve for them, and how will you address their quiet concerns? So what does quiet concerns mean? Well, when it comes to marketing, most people that that you market to and they don't purchase from you, it's not that they don't like your business, or they don't like you, or they didn't like your marketing message, things like that. The biggest problem with marketing is the almost converted, we call. And that is the people who are interested, they like what you do, they're interested in your service, but you fell short in converting them into a customer. And they may have some very subtle, quiet concerns that you're not addressing. So think about some of the big problems that you can solve for them, but also think about some of the small things that they may have in the back of their head that they may never ask you, but you can preempt that by including that in your message and answering those quiet concerns. And the last part is media. So media is basically the platform that we're going to use to reach our audience, and that could be online, offline, social media, paid ads, things like that. So once you understand who your market is, what you're going to say to them, you want to know, well, how am I going to reach them? Where do they hang out? Is that offline? Is it online? Is it on social media? And figure out, those are going to be offline or online channels that you're going to reach them. So once you figure these things out, you'll have a better idea of how you want to reach them. And it becomes easier once you understand who you're actually marketing to, and you understand their behaviors, their interests, and things like that. You'll have a better idea of how to reach them. So let's do a recap. So the 3 things that you're going to need to know are: who are you marketing to? What will you say to them? And how will you reach them? Now, when it comes to who are you marketing to, one of the common things that we get is most businesses will say, well, my product or service appeals to anyone, so I can sell to anyone. Well, when it comes to marketing, that's pretty much the worst thing you can possibly say. And it may be true that maybe your product or service can benefit lots of different audiences. When it comes to marketing, you want a specific audience that you're targeting, because if you start to become too general, what happens is your marketing message becomes too general. It becomes so watered down that it won't resonate with any particular audience. So even though if you have multiple types of audiences that you can reach who can be potential customers, what you want to do when creating your marketing campaign is to create campaigns for each individual type of audience. So you may be targeting baby boomers, young moms, single people, things like that. All 3 of them have different needs and different desires and different reasons for using your product or service. So you need to create different messages for each one of them. So when it comes to who are you marketing to, you want to develop a customer profile for them. You want to have a vision of what they look like. You want to know what their interests are, what they like, what kind of hobbies do they like, what are they interested in, what are their behaviors, what do they like to buy, where do they like to hang out, where do they shop, things like that. Because once you start to fill out this profile, you'll have a better idea of what to say to them and how to reach them, and also address their concerns, figuring out what those stumbling blocks are that would keep them from buying from you, and start to incorporate them into your messaging. So the next thing is, what will you say to them? Well, there's a couple things. We're going to get to this a little bit later. Is you want to get their attention, you want to get them interested, you want to create desire for your product or service, and lastly, you want them to take action. The last part is, how will you reach them? So once you have an understanding of who you're targeting, what you're going to say to them, reaching them probably becomes a little bit easier. Then it's up to you whether it's going to be offline, online, maybe at social media. Maybe that's doing pay-per-click marketing, pay-per-click advertising. Maybe it's search engine optimization, SEO, where you work on your website so when people search for you, you show up organically in the search results. Or maybe it's offline marketing. Maybe it's direct mail pieces. Maybe it's networking. It's up to you, but you'll have a clearer vision of how you should do this when you have a better idea of who you're targeting and what you want to say to them. Okay? So in the next segment, we're going to be talking about your marketing, how your marketing will always be action-oriented. So I'll see you in the next segment. When it comes to direct marketing, your message will always be clear and concise. People should know instantly what you have to offer and how they can benefit from your product or service Clarity always trumps clever when it comes to copywriting. Have you ever been to a website or read a company's brochure, and after reading it, you still didn't know what they did? That's an example of not being clear with your message. So using industry speak, technical jargon, grandiose statements about yourself, things like that. When it comes to copywriting, you want to be clear and direct with them. So state what you do, what you offer, and how people can benefit from your product or service. Now, when it comes to copywriting, there's a very popular technique here, and it's called AIDA. And that's attention, interest, desire, and action. And if you follow this format in copywriting, you'll find you'll have a lot of success with your promotional messages. So the first one is attention. Get their attention. Say something to perk up their ears. That's the initial stage. The first thing you need to cut through all the clutter when it comes to online marketing, offline marketing, just marketing in general. You want to try to get their attention. Once you have their attention, you need to keep it, because attention is fleeting. You may only have a couple seconds to keep their attention. The next step is you want to get them interested. And once you get their attention, you want to keep them interested. And this is where you're going to use facts, figures, stories, case studies to keep them interested, educate them about your product or service, and start moving them slowly down that purchase funnel. The next step is desire. And here you make them really want to buy your product or service. You want to show them what their life can be like with your product or service and how they're going to benefit from having it. And lastly, once you've built that attention, that interest, and desire, you want to get them to take action. And typically, you need to lead them and let them know what the next step is, because it may be apparent to you, but it may not be apparent to the consumer on what they're supposed to do next. So let them know, whether that's a phone call, filling out a form, downloading something, coming into your store, anything. Let them know plainly the next step is to do X, and that will move them down to making a purchase. So let's see this in action. Let's see AIDA in action. You have your ad. So say you're going to run a Facebook ad, or you're going to do Google AdWords or something like that. Your ad is going to be the initial attention getter. So you're going to have a headline and a supporting statement that's going to grab their attention, and it's going to bring them back to your website or landing page. And here you're going to work on getting them interested. And on this landing page, you're going to talk about your case studies. You're going to talk about your product or service, testimonials, things like that. You really want to start to get them interested in it. And the next stage is desire. And desire, you may include desire on your landing page or your product page, wherever you're bringing people to. But if not, if it's something where you're offering free information, like a download, something like that, you may create that desire later on when they're on your email list and you're running an autoresponder campaign, or you're giving them free information like an ebook or a video course or something like that. And here you have the opportunity to slowly create that desire for them. So once the consumer has seen your ad, been to your landing page, got your free product or offer, whatever that may be, the next step is their call to action, and you may include that directly on your landing page or product page, or it may be included in one of your emails or at the end of your course, something like that, and you're letting people know what they need to do next. So in the next segment, we're going to talk about focusing on results. When it comes to direct marketing, you will always focus on results. Results are all that matter, either in the form of sales or the number of leads the campaign generated. Measure with revenue-focused metrics, which we're going to cover in the next segment. Avoid copying marketing strategies from big brands. Big brands do not have the same agenda as a small business owner. Big brands often have to please stockholders, boards of directors, ego-driven executives, and marketing agencies who often are more focused on winning awards than driving revenue for the company. Big brands waste lots of money and often lack accountability in their marketing results. You do not have a big enough budget to waste like this. Now, typically, the bigger the company, the larger the marketing budget, the more waste involved. Think of it like the government. The government takes in billions and actually trillions of dollars in tax dollars, and they're not very efficient with the way they spend it. And the reason being is that they have such a supply of funds coming in that they can afford to be wasteful. As a small business owner, you do not have that luxury to be wasteful, which is why with the direct marketing mindset, we make sure whenever we spend $1, we want to at least get 2 back in return. So your goal should only be to sell something now when you're marketing. If you spend $1 on marketing, you should know how many dollars you are getting back. Be stingy with your marketing dollars. So here's an example. Whenever you're going to run a marketing campaign or run an ad somewhere, always calculate the ROI that you're getting. So say you're going to spend $2,000 for an ad and you get 50 leads come in from that ad. And out of those 50 leads, you make 15 sales at $300 a piece. So that will give you $4,500 in sales and a $2,500 profit on this $2,000 ad that you purchased. So whenever you're doing any kind of marketing and any kind of ad campaign, keep these metrics in mind and have this mindset, because that will let you know exactly how much money you're getting back whenever you spend money on your marketing campaign. In the next segment, we're going to cover tracking, measuring, and improving your marketing campaigns. When it comes to direct marketing, you will always track, measure, and improve your marketing campaigns. Improving your marketing over time is the only way to get better and to increase your ROI. Measure with revenue-focused metrics. Now, when it comes to marketing, you need to know the basics, which we covered some of them earlier in this course when it comes to marketing, your message, and the media that you're going to use to reach them. The good thing with marketing is you don't have to be an expert to get great results. What you need to do is you need to be able to track, measure, and continually improve your marketing over time. So maybe the first year you're in business or the first several marketing campaigns that you launch, you may not get very good results. But if you're tracking the metrics and you're tracking the results, it will help you to identify the areas that you need to improve. So the next time that you run a campaign, you'll be able to make those small improvements, and eventually you'll start running some very efficient marketing campaigns. So how do you track results? There's a number of ways to track results. One of them is analytics. So on your website, you should have some sort of analytics installed. Most people use Google Analytics, and it gives you a lot of data. You can set up goal tracking on there where you know if somebody takes some sort of goal-oriented action on your site, like filling out a form, making a purchase, downloading something. Analytics can track that for you, so you'll know where that source of traffic came from and which ones of those people took the goal action that you are tracking in your analytics. You can also use offer codes, and that might be a coupon code, something like that. If you're running an advertisement, you can run A/B tests. A/B tests are what's called split tests. So maybe if you're testing an ad, you may run 2 versions of the ad with 2 offers or 2 different headlines, and you track and see which one performs best. So A/B testing or split testing is a great way to test a couple different ideas and see which ones resonate the most with your audience. You can use unique tracking phone numbers. You can use surveys to get more information of how and why people purchase from you. You can use something called tracking URLs. So you can add special tagging parameters to a URL that you're using that will be passed back to your Google Analytics or whatever analytics package that you're tracking, and it will show you exactly who's clicking on those ads, where they're coming from, and what actions they've taken when you're on your site. So there's lots of different ways that you can track results, and you'll probably use some sort of combination of these. So what metrics do we track? Well, when it comes to direct marketing, you want to track revenue-focused metrics. And those could be sales, direct sales on your site or offline, leads that you're generating, emails that you've collected, and maybe downloads that you've offered. So maybe you're tracking how many people download an ebook, and maybe that's the first step in your purchase funnel. on there. So those are all some good metrics that you can track when you're running a marketing campaign to see if it's successful or not. Some metrics, especially today with social media, people like to track metrics like likes, the number of followers they've gotten from a campaign, even how much engagement they've gotten from a campaign. I advise not to use these metrics as goals, especially when you're spending money on your marketing. Reason being is these type of metrics do not translate into dollars. You can't take likes, followers, and engagement and go cash them into the bank. So they're okay metrics to track as far as social media goes, but I would not use them as metrics as success or not for your marketing campaign if you're spending money on marketing. So in the next segment, we're going to be talking about follow-ups and how they should be done quickly, consistently, and relentlessly. With direct marketing, you will follow up quickly, consistently, and relentlessly. Find the holes in your bucket and fix them. Poor follow-up costs small businesses tens of thousands of dollars a year or more. Re-engage and reactivate past customers. Now, you may have run the best marketing campaign of your life, but if you have a poor follow-up system or a poor way of converting those leads into customers, your marketing campaign is going to fail. And oftentimes in this follow-up phase is where most of the lost revenue opportunities lie. So you need to figure out where the holes are in your bucket. So where do we fix the holes in our bucket? Number one, not capturing contact information. How many customers, how many people call, how many people come into your store, request information, and you fail to get their information on there? Getting their email address, names, phone numbers is super important because that's pretty much the only way you're ever going to be able to follow up with these people. So always look for an opportunity to capture their information, either through filling out a form or at the very least getting an email address so you can put them into your email marketing software and they'll give you the ability to reach out to them at a later date. Not following up on sales leads or poor follow-ups. Oftentimes, especially if you're in a competitive niche, if you don't follow up right away with a potential lead, you're going to lose them to a competitor. Same thing with referrals. Not following up or following up too slowly. When somebody refers you, you get a referral for your business. You need to make sure that you have a system in place where these leads that are coming in are being followed up with in a timely manner, especially if you have employees. What often happens if you do not have a set written way to follow up when leads come in, you'll find that you as a business owner or your employees, everybody may do it a little bit differently, and that will reflect poorly in your conversions and in the results of your marketing campaign. Another one is not having a lead nurturing campaign. Most businesses do not have a lead nurturing campaign in place. And what I mean by that is if somebody contacts your business and they're not ready to buy right away, most businesses do not have a system set up to nurture those people. So to take their contact information and to keep them interested in their business and to nurture them until they're ready to buy. And that may be through a free course, some free information, at the very least getting them onto your email marketing list where maybe you send out a monthly newsletter or a biweekly email, something like that. Most businesses do not have a lead nurturing campaign in place, which means that if you get somebody who's not ready to buy, then you have nothing else to offer them and they're going to go and probably most likely do business with somebody else. So make sure you have a lead nurturing campaign in place for people who are not ready to buy right away. Another big opportunity is rescuing lost customers. So how many people do you have in your database? And how many customers do you have that haven't purchased from you in a long time? Reach out to them. Create a marketing campaign just for them to give them an incentive, a bonus, a free value add to get them back as a customer, get them back purchasing with them again. Or even, you may have introduced several new products or services since the last time they purchased from you. Reintroduce those to those lost customers, and you'll find these type of reactivation campaigns for old customers can be a serious source of revenue for you. So let's give an example here of how follow-up can increase your revenue. In a previous segment, we talked about a sample ad campaign where we ran a $2,000 ad, generated 50 leads, had 15 sales at $300 each, and we generated $4,500 in sales, or a $2,500 profit. Well, what if you had a system in place where you were able to have a better follow-up system, a better conversion system, and now you're able to get 20 sales out of that same exact campaign, and now you produce $6,000 in revenue at a $4,000 profit. So even with some small changes, some small improvements, quicker follow-up, things like that, you'll be able to squeeze out more revenue from any of your marketing campaigns. Another way I like to look at this too is not so much that you got an additional 5 sales, but look at the 50 leads that you generated. If you made 20 sales, what I see there is that you lost the opportunity to sell to 30 of those leads who were interested enough to give you their information and to contact you, which means those 30 people is actually $9,000 lost in revenue. And that's another way to look at it, to show you every one of those leads that you do not convert into a customer is a lost opportunity for you. So in the next segment, we're going to do a quick recap and a review of what we've done, and I will see you in the next segment. Okay, so let's recap what we learned in this course. Number 1, market, message, and media. A successful campaign needs to get all 3 right. If you don't get your target market right, it doesn't matter what kind of message you have, what kind of offer you have, and how you reach them, your campaign is going to fail. And the same thing applies to all 3. So take your time before you start any marketing campaign and make sure you understand who your target market is, what your message is going to be, and how you're going to reach them. Number 2, action-oriented. Always have an offer ready and a reason to take action now. Your goal should be to get results right away with your marketing campaign and to be able to produce a positive ROI for any of the money that you spend on your campaign. Number 3, clear and concise. Clarity always beats clever. Make sure that your value proposition, what you have to offer people, is very clear, very direct, and you make it very easy for them to take action. Number 4, focus on results. Making a sale now is what matters. Focus on results that impact your bottom line. Don't get caught up in using metrics like likes, shares, engagement. Focus on the bottom line. Focus on the return you're going to get from the money that you spend on your marketing campaign. Number 5, track and improve. Track, measure, and improve your marketing campaigns to really get good at marketing. What separates mediocre marketers from really good marketers isn't so much that they're geniuses, actually not at all, not being a genius. It really comes down to tracking and measuring the performance of your campaigns, learning from the mistakes that you make, and getting better on your next campaign. If you continually do that, you'll find every time you launch a new marketing campaign, you'll get better and better with your marketing. And finally, follow up. Fix your leaking bucket by creating systems for fast follow-up and lead nurturing. If you do a review of your current marketing funnel and sales funnel, you'll probably see there's lots of holes in your bucket, opportunities to pick up even more conversions in sales with your existing marketing campaigns. So I hope you learned a little bit, and thank you very much for taking the course. If you want to learn more, you can check us out at 3bugmedia.com and look out for some of our other courses here on Skillshare.